Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's early in the morning, so it's a fluffy hair type of day. But everyone, we have some exciting Guild Wars 2 news. A summer roadmap has just dropped, so I am here to take you through the major points of this blog post and just summarize everything that we've learned. And some of these things are kind of fun. Oh my god. As soon as I start, hair in the mouth. Oh. First and foremost, we have confirmation of Living World Season 1, Episode 3, and it's coming much faster than I actually expected. So they start off with Let the Clockwork Chaos Begin. The third episode of Living World Season 1 returns on July 19th. This is like next week, I believe. I'm pretty sure it is next week, and it is next week. It's next Tuesday. So mark your calendars. We're going to be venturing on deeper into Season 1 and experiencing the threat of Scarlet Briar. Next up, I was super surprised about this section of the blog post, but this information and what they are updating is actually something that I've long thought about, and this is in reference to the starting maps of Guild Wars 2. Now, these starting maps, at least 4 out of the 5 starting zones, have world bosses attached to them, and they're very spectacular. They're nice cinematic bosses, however, they're a little bit old. So, and I was very surprised to hear this, they've also taken note of this and are updating the 4 world bosses for these starting zones. Now, I'm a little sad they're not adding a world boss to the Char starting area. I just think that it could be a perfect opportunity to have like a ghost boss at the very top right of the map, or some harpy situation, or another flame legion. I don't know. That would actually require creation of new content, new assets, designing around a certain area of the map. So I understand why this is probably just the best and simplest way, but it's just a little fever dream off in the distance. But what they have done is, coming with the July 19th patch next week, they'll be making improvements to the Great Jungle Worm, Shadow Behemoth, Svanir Shaman Chieftain, and Fire Elemental World Boss events. Their goal is to bring them up to current design standards by adding skill telegraphs and defiance bars, improving encounter mechanics, and rebalancing health pools to accommodate the power level of modern profession builds. I am super pumped to hear all of this. I oftentimes run world bosses with the World Boss Portal device, and I often get Shadow Behemoth and Chieftain, and they do die pretty quickly just because of elite specializations, and the way that the level syncing works is that even if you are max level and get synced down to level 15 or 10 or something, you have so many professions, elite specs, you have utility skills, runes, that inherently your power is greatly increased. So I hope that this really allows them to, buff them a little bit. The one thing about Defiance bars, I'm super happy to see that Defiance bars are going to be a thing in these lower level maps. However, we have still yet to address the huge error and the huge problem in Guild Wars 2's design. This is the EMP and Waystation. Now, is it going to be a thing where people need to use EMP? Probably not, but will we see people pop down Waystations because now these bosses have Defiance bars? Probably. Now, with this, they probably have not made the Defiance bars super large, because if we're taking into consideration the low level, we don't really have a lot of access to Defiance bar breaks necessarily. So I don't think it's going to be a super huge Defiance bar. But if EMPs still exist in Guild Wars 2, that Defiance bar is going to be meaningless and not really teach new players the mechanic of a Defiance bar, or give them the opportunity to slowly realize what it is, because if people just use EMP, it's not really going to be something that you take note of. So once again, EMP, the bane of Defiance bar design in open world, and especially with early maps, you really don't need EMP, and those players are not going to have it, so they're going to be like, what is this Waystation thing? So yeah, EMP, still I'm a proponent of EMP only being locked to Icebrood Saga maps, and in the same breath, the Waystation stuff as well. Regardless of this, moving on, the Great Jungle Worm, Shadow Behemoth, and Svanir Shaman Chieftain have also received model and texture quality improvements, and one champion loot bag will be added to the completion rewards for each event. This is super awesome, just a little bit extra rewards for those early maps. I'm assuming that it'll scale to level, so even if you're level 10, you'll be able to get level 10 rewards, maybe some rare level 15 items, I don't know. But also, increases more incentive for higher end players, max level players, to come back and fight them. The textures look really good. We have snippets from the Shadow Behemoth and the Great Jungle Worm. They both look fantastic. Shadow Behemoth looks crisp. I love the horns. His body has remained kind of the same. I think it's more so just like in the face. The body could have received a little bit more definition maybe, and I wonder how they're going to update, or if they are going to update any of the targeting features, because Shadow Behemoth, it's like it goes in, but the target is like so huge. Some bosses in Guild Wars 2's targeting could be improved a little bit. Next up, we have some raid improvements and currency improvements. You heard that right, they are still updating raids, and this is super exciting. Does this mean that they might be thinking about doing another raid? Maybe not at the current moment, but if people continue to play the strike missions and have an interest in raiding, who knows? So they are simplifying and improving raid rewards. In the July 19th update, they're making some changes to raid rewards to help address some long-standing pain points and reduce unnecessary complexity in raid currency. Gating crystals are now going to be transformed into magnetite shards, where magnetite shards are now the major currency for raids. The weekly cap has been upped from 150 to 300 to compensate this change, and legendary divinations, which are the Path of Fire legendary insight versions, are now going to be transformed into legendary insights, and they're no longer going to be an item, and instead are just going to be a currency in your inventory. So now you can't really ping legendary insight, but it'll just be something that is much more smoothly transitioned into the wallet. In addition to this, challenge mode raid rewards are being updated. You're now going to get a bonus chest each week with 2 gold, 2 provisioner tokens, 10 magnetite shards, bonus experience, and a random exotic item. Now this is per boss per week, so you can get multiples of these for all of the challenge mode bosses. So that's all the stuff with the raid. A lot of the currencies are being homogenized into one, gating crystals into magnetite shards, legendary divinations into legendary insights. It's all much more uniform. Next up, we have some updates to Fractals, which is interesting. Now, not the update that I was expecting. Honestly, I'm still waiting for them to just say, like, Agni resistance is no longer a thing, or we have greatly changed the way Agni resistance functions to not make it to where we have to farm it constantly. The Mistlock instability system is intended to keep Fractals of the Mists feeling fresh, with each instability introducing a new twist that provides additional challenges when completing an encounter. However, some instability combinations have a tendency to be more frustrating rather than challenging or fun. In the July 19th update, we are making adjustments to nearly every Mistlock instability to reduce frustrating difficulty spikes, reward players for taking advantage of positive play opportunities, and increase synergy between instabilities across the board. A full breakdown of these changes and the design commentary for those changes will be awaiting you on the release notes for July 19th. Very good, very good. Nice update to Fractals. Once again, Agni resistance is a huge barrier to entry, not only for new players, but also existing players. I've gotten so bored of Fractals because I can only play one build due to Agni resistance. So I would love to see Agni resistance honestly just, get the chop, and then just like have 3 levels of endgame dungeons. I don't know, I think Fractals were so convoluted, and maybe in the past, not having endgame in Guild Wars 2, it was nice to have a geared treadmill of sorts, but now we've entered a completely new era of Guild Wars 2, where we have much more consistent endgame. We don't really need that geared treadmill. All we have to do is be faced with challenges that engage the player base. So honestly, Agni resistance, put it in the trash. We wrap up with the more official Summer Roadmap guidelines. Here are the dates. So July 19th is episode 3, world boss improvements, raid reward changes, and Mistlock instability updates. August 2nd, which is but a few weeks away, is the Festival of 4 Winds, the Kralkatork legendary weapon skin variants, and a balance update, which is interesting. I really hope they kind of go back on a lot of things. I have a whole entire, I have so many thoughts and feelings around the balance just because of everything that's happened, but I think that like the boon system is way too convoluted with certain roles. things and changes that they did I didn't think were necessary. Some of the class fantasy was kind of stripped away in some areas, but yeah, I'm waiting with bated breath to see what that balance update will be. August 23rd is the Guild Wars 2 10th anniversary, and I'm very excited to see what they might do for the 10th anniversary, what the presents are going to be, and all of that stuff. And then September 13th is going to be Living World Season 1, Episode 4. So this means fall, we'll get Episode 5, and even maybe in the fall, we'll get Season 6. Maybe late fall or early winter, I'm guessing. I'm happy to see that Season 1 is gonna wrap up relatively quickly, and then hopefully we'll have an easy transition into a Season 6. No matter what they want to call it, this is their opportunity to rebrand Living World and really just make it to more, it's like Icebrood Saga, where it's more so DLC focused, and I would personally love that. Also mentioned that they might have a few more surprises up their sleeves in the summer months. That is your summer roadmap update. Thank you all so much for coming on by. As for me and my summer update, I have some more videos coming. I have multiple ideas around balance that I might elaborate upon in videos. I made a Firebrand rework and I really do enjoy it, and maybe I'll touch on that as well. And yeah, I'm streaming more on Twitch. Mondays we do Final Fantasy XIV. Every other day we're doing Guild Wars 2. So come on by to the Twitch if you are interested. Thank you all so much for coming on by. We have a Patreon also if you like to get videos early. Subscribe, comment down below your thoughts about this summer roadmap. And if you'd like to purchase Guild Wars 2 or try it out for free, use my links down below, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye everyone. See you episode 3. Mwah!